Right, so the MTHFR is one of the mutations I have. And I also discovered that I have other mutations. When I got these really bad effects following Dr. Ben Lynch advice in 2016, when at the time he was recommending massive doses of methyl B12 and methylfolate for MTHFR, I didn't know what I was doing, so I just followed whatever was online. Okay, I had psychosis, I had like very bad depression and crying spells and horrible effects. I wanted to kill myself, literally. I had massive headaches. I thought my head was going to explode. I had aggravated tinnitus. I already have tinnitus. I developed it a couple of years back when I got injured because of fluoroquinolone, another ciprofloxacin. I'll make another video about that as well. Right, why is so important to know your mutations? MTHFR is not the only mutation. MTHFR is kind of the central kind of point in the methylation cycle, but there are other mutations involved in this methylation cycle. So when we consider this, we have to look at other mutations. So after the experience I had with this Dr. Ben Lynch, by the way, now he changed. He has changed his advices based on what Dr. Ami Yasko is saying, that you should address first of all the CBS mutation, and if you actually take in consideration other mutations apart from MTHFR, you should be careful, because some people, they would have problem if they get too many metals in their body. So this is the difference, right? I'll explain as plain as I can, and not too long. Okay, so I went on and I researched about what Dr. Amy Yasko was saying, and she was saying, well, you need to find out the other mutations and then make a decision of what's the best approach on dealing with the methylation issues. So I know my other mutations, so I went and I did a 23andMe DNA testing in 2016. Okay, and it took a while to come back, and this time I started to research, but it didn't make absolutely no sense to me. It was like the hardest thing I ever studied in my life. So I got a mutation interpreted on Dr. Azami Yasko's website, knowyourgenetics.com, and it told me exactly what the mutations are. Sorry, I should have specified. I took the raw data from 23andMe and plugged it into the knowyourgenetics.com website, which interprets your raw data and gives you the mutations and what they mean, and also recommendations by tailored very generically based on your mutations. Like there's 50 different supplements, sorry. So you shouldn't take all of them, but they just like give you a broad range of things that could help this mutation, that mutation, and some of them they work for 2 or 3 mutations or even more. So yeah, I found out the mutations and I went studying like there was no tomorrow. From Dr. Yamiasko. So I read the book with in regards autism and the other books as well that she has. That they're, by the way, they're free and you can read them online. You can order it if you want to have a paper book. But yeah, I read those like they were my Bibles. I learned, but it was so hard to understand and put all the pieces together. It took me some time. So before starting to address your methylation issues, you have to understand that there is a mutation called CBS, and that needs to be addressed in the first place if you do have these mutations, and if you are interested in finding out and how do they affect you, because they do affect you. Doctors don't know. This is really, really new, and and Dr. Amiasco is a pioneer. So sorry about this, doctors don't know about this, and that's why they tell you, oh, it doesn't mean anything, it's fine, you're fine, the mutation don't matter, and this and that, which I don't agree with, because until I actually understood my mutation and took action based on those, my health didn't improve. So you go figure it out for yourself and see what do you want to do. Alrighty, so addressing the CBS mutation. Why CBS mutation? If it's a plus plus, which means you have 2 copies of this mutation, it's worse. Okay, there are 3 types of CBS, and I have one of them that is not very, very drastic. It's another one that's more drastic than mine, but still mine is plus plus, and I have to stay away from sulfur as much as I can. So going back to juicing and what I'm doing, I actually have to stay away from brassica family, and coconut water, and melons like watermelons. They all contain sulfur. Coconut oil, coconut flesh, coconut water, all the sulfur supplements, and yeah, things that when you see that people recommend ALA and recommend all the MSM and sulfur because it's good for detoxification, please take a step back. And if you don't know your mutations, don't go that way. Why? Because you can make more harm to your body than you know. And I find this the hard way. There were years that I took sulfur supplements as well, and used sulfur foods, and I didn't know. I felt that my body doesn't want it anymore, and I stopped it. But I learned the hard way. If I knew my mutation, I wouldn't have gone that way, and I would have had a much better outcome. Why is this so important? The CBS mutation, what it does. Okay, so it speeds up your detoxification pathway, but in the same time, it takes out all the good stuff, all the nutrients as well. So when you add sulfur to your food and to your juices and everything, if you have like juice, if you're juicing from the brassica families and you have a CBS++ mutation like how I have, it will also take out all your nutrients. So you'll be in a depleted state and have no energy, low energy, and so on. And you don't know what hit you. Yeah. It happened to me. So once I've had this knowledge, I adjusted, and things start to improve for me. So I actually took some of the RNA, the nucleotides that Dr. Amiasco has developed, and to tackle this mutation at the beginning, to kind of detox the body of the sulfur and so on. I stopped all the sulfur possible, like not even a coconut water. Now I have it from time to time because it's really good. It has other minerals and so on. But yeah, lesson learned and hard lesson. I didn't know why I was so depleted, why I was so low and exhausted. And apart from the lymphatic system and its issues, this is also an issue. So you have to know this, and you have to be careful. Before you're starting to address any methylation issues, look that you don't have a CBS mutation. If you do have, just adjust it accordingly. Another thing that's very important for methylation issues is if you had there are 2 mutations on the vitamin D receptors. They are called VDR-TAC and VDR-FOC. The VDR-FOC is to do with low blood sugar, and the other one, VDR-TAC, is to do with dopamine. And the VDR-TAC, you have to take this in consideration, and the COMT, which is another mutation. And COMT, what it does, it metabolizes dopamine and all the neurotransmitters. So if you can't metabolize the dopamine, and you also have a VDR-TAC mutation, and you're adding metals into your daily intake, that's going to be a disaster. So these two, COMT and VDR-TAC, if they are plus plus, in my case they are, and that's why it was the problem with the metals that I had, and that's why you shouldn't take any metals at this stage. right, it will come a stage when you would be able to add some metals in, but once you supported the short route of the methylation as per Dr. Amiasco and the long route of the methylation. How you support the short route? You have to make sure that you have enough lithium, because lithium is important for transport of B12 and metal folate into your cells. If you don't have this, you will have an excess of metals in your body, and you're gonna be over methylating. You're gonna have all these bad effects that I had, like not only headaches, manic episodes, and that's not good. All these metals are causing blocks in your methylation cycle. So instead of getting better, you're getting worse. You're putting blocks, roadblocks in your methylation cycle, so you're not getting any better. So address the lithium issue. Do hair mineral test to check all your minerals, or your lithium and your toxic minerals, to monitor this. Also, you need to constantly have urine amino acids to see what's going on with all the things you're doing. The amino acids are an indication of what's happening with your neurotransmitters and other processes in the body, and so on. So these are all the things you should consider before even attempting to correct a methylation issue, and so on. So once you supported the lithium, also you will take like a complex of minerals, or and B12s, amino acids as well. All these micronutrients that you would need, maybe like a calming spray, and also address the issues with GABA and glutamate. You have to balance GABA and glutamate, because unless you do this, you're not moving ahead. So GABA and GABA and glutamine, they work in balance. So if you have too much glutamine, you have less GABA. This is very important to stabilize yourself emotionally, mentally, hormonal, and so on. Once you achieve this, then you can move ahead. Why is this important? Glutamate is very exciting for the body. It excites the nervous system, and glutamate and calcium, if you have these two too much in the system, basically Dr. Amiasco says that the glutamate is the gun and the calcium is the bullet. So you are shooting yourself, right? So you have to have this balance. Okay. Once you've balanced all your minerals based on your hair mineral test, you are supporting. This is going to support the methylation, is going to support the hormones, the hormonal balance. Balance in the minerals balances the hormones. Minerals help your body detox of heavy metals. Everything works together, right? So Amiasco has outlined this theory and practice, saying that the pathogens you have in the body, even they are stealth pathogens. They form microfilms and so on, but they all trap the heavy metals inside. So the reason you are not able to detox your heavy metals is because these pathogens trap the metals inside, right? So in order to address all these issues, you will need to support the methylation, get the methylation working, because the methylation is what it detoxes your body of heavy metals and of your pathogens, and so on. The reason I got my swollen leg, and that's how I find out that I'm not detoxing very well with the traditional ways of like cleansing your colon, cleansing your liver, all this kind of stuff, is because I had the methylation issues. The reason I got damage from fluoroquinolone, antibiotics, vaccines and everything is the methylation issue. The reason I had spina bifida is the methylation issue, and so on. So these all together are happening because of the methylation issues. So you see, when the doctors tell you that methylation and genetic mutations are not an issue and a problem, they are so wrong. Okay, and I'll leave it like that. I leave it there because I'm really pissed off with the way doctors operate today. So I just want to focus on the positive side. Right. So, coming back to the subject, so you would need to support your methylation. The methylation will start helping the body detox your heavy metals. There are also like some nucleotides that Yasko has developed for um detoxing of heavy metals. Or you'll have also your cilantro and other things. If you don't have the CBS mutation, you could also use the sulfur um, supplements to detoxify all of this. But you can also use EDTA, which is another heavy metal chelator. But you have to be careful with your choices. The more natural, the better, okay? Because the body is so unbalanced that you have to focus on balancing it. And any type of supplements that, like the chelators and all of this, they are unbalancing for the body. So you have to take very, very small steps. Dr. Ami says this and repeats it. This is a marathon, is not a sprint, right? It's a marathon to your health. um, so yeah, balancing the minerals, getting the methylation supported and working, it will, and actioning on detoxifying the metals, also going after the pathogens and parasites, whatever you have in your body. All of this can be found out through GI map and CSA, which is a comprehensive stool analysis. The GI map is a DNA of whatever it's in your stomach and your intestines and everything. That is the best way to find out what exactly is happening, because you could have a false positive and false negative or whatever, but the DNA doesn't lie. The DNA of the pathogen is there, and you catch it and you identify it, and that's it. Also for women's, there are like DNAs of intimate secretions and so on. So these things, once you have this, you know for sure what is it that you are dealing with. Then you can design a plan on how you can action on this. Yeah, the Dr. Amiasko has her own website and her amazing free online books that she's written, because she said that she doesn't have time to do more consultation. She wants to focus on the science and getting this even further, but she has given us the tools to help ourselves and educate ourselves, because once you educate yourself, you would know what you need to do and how to go about, and you can even educate your doctor if you have one that's really open-minded and so on. So yeah, it's a very complicated way situation when you have methylation issues, but you have to work on all this. So support the methylation, go after the pathogen, and detoxify the heavy metals. These three, they have to work together in order to achieve results. Now, my experience with juicing, I wanted to not go so heavy on the supplements, but to give my body the best chance to help itself through nutrition and through juicing and juice fasting reboot. Right. So I have tailored my juices based on my issues, like the IBS I was telling you about, and the mutations. So based on my CBS mutation, I have to stay away from sulfur things or limit as much as I can. At the moment, I'm just staying away because I have SIBO, and SIBO feeds gets fed by sulfur.